sent him a track that I just finished. Like I was sampling.
Wait. Save it.
Yeah, it's a good story.
It's a good story. It
It's
sounds
crazy.
like. You know Brian Softwell?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool as fuck.
Same thing happened to him.
Fuck with him. Yeah, but he also made that track, the one that's been playing out a lot lately with
Bad Bunny.
with the Bad Bunny, you know?
And it's his popped off like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you'll see when I tell you, it's kind of like the same thing.
Word.
But like it's not my track isn't popping off like how his went like his hadn't even come out yet.
The producer?
Mine was just like, oh, I made it, and like I
Louis
sent it to a couple people,
Martinez?
and Carnage was one of them.
What's it,
Shindo? You liked it?
Some other shit.
Okay, cool. We got to talk about it. That's a perfect conversation. And you got a track coming out in June 11th?
8.
8.
What's it? Yeah.
What's it called?
Different. It's called Who Knows. Because
Shindo?
I just listened to it because it's like it's not. Wait, what name did you just say?
He said, what?
Shindo?
Shindo. Yeah.
You know Shindo?
Yeah. Went to high school.
Oh shit.
Bro, there's a few kids that we went to high school with that are like big in the EDM shit, like absolutely.
Shindo's bigger in the pop world than anything.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He was a co-producer on
He's a fucking legend. To me, he's a main producer. If you see how he made it, it's like, bro, this guy made that.
Yeah?
He made Peaches. It's crazy, dude.
I have no idea who that is, bro. No idea. Obviously it wasn't me, right?
He knows some people I know.
He's like best friends with Nitty Gritty. He's like a big.
That's how I even know about him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nice. I know about him through Luke, but also Izzy B and you know Carissa? The Zolchik?
No.
She is really good friends with Paul Campbell.
Yeah.
And Paul Campbell is Nitty Gritty's manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know this guy?
Yeah. I've heard it before.
Yeah, he fucking graduated. No, he graduated like your house.
He's from Pines,
You
right?
heard me, right, H?
He went to
No,
Hollywood.
So, yeah, that's another funny story I could tell.
All right, let's
Yo,
go.
it's like it's crazy. My girl always tells me like, you have some crazy ass luck.
Well, let's hear it, man. I'm ready for this. Well, we are ready to go. Mics are good. Check.
Yeah, let's do a quick
Double. Mic check. 1, 2. Check. Mic check.
Are your switches on?
Yep. Cool. Mic check. All right,
2.
cool. All right, let's start this. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Electronic Age. I'm your host, Adrian Saya, and on today's episode, we got Mikey Barreneche in the building. I almost fucked up that last name, bro. I wanted to make sure I had it right. What's good, man? It's good to have you here.
Good to be here, bro.
Hell yeah. So you mentioned that you love listening to podcasts, but
Yeah.
how often do you get a chance to be on one?
It's probably been. This is only my third one,
Word.
so I haven't done one in probably since like before COVID.
Damn.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Dope, man. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Yeah. So, before we hopped on the mic, you were telling me that you have some crazy stories. That shit just happens to pop off for you or just get in line. One of those being you reached out to Carnage recently and you got a chance to open for him. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
So I made a track sampling a Kanye West song. It was can't remember the name of it right now, but it's a popular one, and I've had it in my notes. Sample the song for like a year. Finally got around to doing it, made it, and I emailed it out to him and a couple other big DJs. And
Nice.
he's never replied to anything I sent him in the email. But I'm eating dinner, and I get a DM from Carnage. He's like, "Yo, this is nuts," and I'm like, "What? Can I curse?
Fuck? Yeah, of course.
I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then I'm like, I just said, "Knew you'd love it." And then he followed me, and then like 5 minutes later, his manager Panda hits me up. He texts me because he knows who I am because I've done a couple Carnage shows before.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yo, do you want to play one of Carnage's last shows as
Damn.
Carnage?" And I'm like, "Of course!" Like, they don't know this, but I've watched this guy like 20 times or more since we've driven in the snow when I'm in college 5 to 2 hours like to see him.
To go see Carnage.
Yeah, when, like 2014, 2015. a million times. I've seen him like in 3 different states.
Yeah, that's insane.
And so I'm like, yes, of course. And then he's like, okay, you're going to do LA. And I'm like, perfect. That's the one I wanted. And yeah, and then like I didn't get my flight till like the day before. So like it's one of those things that are like, it's surreal that like I literally was just saying like I kind of don't believe it until I see that flight and I'm like, I'm going.
And you're there.
So the whole week I'm like, damn, well, are they really going to do it? Are they really going to do it? And then once I got the flight, I woke up and I saw it. I'm like, let's go.
Oh, shit, man. That's so cool.
Like everything about it turned out perfect. Like I was treated better there than I've ever have been in any show. And like I was like, this is how it should be from now on.
I like that. So you feel like that set a standard for you in your mind?
Huge standard.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to be a level up, but it was like an even bigger level up than I thought.
Damn.
And it's like, sometimes it takes these things to show me like, this is what I should be getting. Financial wise, like treatment wise, like they treat you as good as they pay you.
Damn.
And what's crazy, even to go further back, 2 weeks before that, we had gotten an offer to do a show, me and Brian, and we're just like, it wasn't what we wanted.
Word.
We thought we deserved better than that. And 2 weeks later, we get the best thing we've ever gotten.
That's badass, man.
I told him when we said no, this is going to come back and pay us good.
Yeah.
Like,
you felt it.
I felt it. Like, I'm not going to, just because I want to play a show, I'm not going to, like, bring myself down to do it. I'm not going to do something less than what I feel like I should be getting.
You actually strike a really good point there. I actually talk to a lot of up-and-coming DJs, right? And this, I think, is a very hard issue, right? It's like, how do you determine your self-worth? You know?
Somebody just asked me that yesterday because I do like lessons online for people that are learning to DJ and stuff. And he's like, how do you determine your rate? And I'm like, I never really got a good grasp of what my rate is until I did my own event. So I booked myself, I booked other DJs, and I saw how much money I could make.
Yeah.
So now I know how much money they're making, the bookers, for these parties. And then I'm making like literally like 7 times more than what I get when these other people book me.
God damn.
So I'm like, I'm getting ripped off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I paid the other guys more than they ever been paid.
Damn.
At the same time. So I'm really getting ripped off.
Yeah.
So that's and and another thing is like I just determine it by how many people could I bring to this club today.
Okay.
If I bring 30 people, they all pay $20 for a ticket. That's already a certain amount of money. I could charge that already, and these people are not going sober. They're gonna buy drinks at the bar.
For sure.
So that's even more money that I'm making the club. So why would I bring all these people to this club and make them all this money, and I'm going back home with $100?
That's a big fact, man. And do you feel like you had to put on multiple hats as a DJ, right? You mentioned like basically being a promoter, because that's exactly what you mentioned. You had to be a promoter. Do you find yourself doing that a lot, like having to go back and forth? I'm
everything at the same time.
Damn.
Sometimes I won't. Sometimes lately, especially lately, because now it's like I'm making more content than I've ever had. Like the more content I keep making, it's like I have to find a balance, because I won't make music for like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Yeah. Because I've just been doing other things that I need to do for this career. Like making videos or sending emails, things like that. And you are a promoter, but I look at it as like you're the CEO of a company. You're the CEO of yourself.
Facts.
If nobody knows about you, it doesn't matter how good your music is.
And how has your experience been being a DJ in South Florida? You know, has it always been this mentality of like, I got to do everything, or where did it all begin for you? Actually, is a better question.
In college, I started getting into, because I went to college to play baseball, and then in college, I started listening to music a lot more, because I was in Minnesota and there was nothing to do. I was in my room, and I started getting to trap music, which was like the hip hop version of EDM.
Kind of like Nostradamus at the time, or
like
not
Flosstradamus.
Flosstradamus.
So it was like Flosstradamus and Carnage, and they were like doing like hip hop remixes. So it was like EDM with like, it was like hip hop with a drop.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And then I started getting into like Avicii, Swedish House Mafia, and all that. And I started going to festivals and events, and never ever thought of DJing ever until I went to one festival, Life in Color, in 2014.
Damn, that was way back. Life in Color.
It was at the Hard Rock Stadium, and I saw was going to watch a DJ just because he was on the lineup with Steve Aoki. That
Oh,
I was
sick.
for an event that I already had a ticket for.
Yeah.
Later on in the year in Minnesota, and I'm like, oh, this guy's on the lineup. Let me go check him out. And this dude just blew my mind. Like how much fun he was having up there too. And I'm like,
Do you know
I
who
want to be
it
a
was?
DJ. His name's Headhunters.
Nice.
I was like, I want to be a DJ.
It just clicked with
And I
you.
went home back to Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I bought a controller from sketchy ass neighborhood at some guy's house. He had like 8 cats.
Holy
I bought it for like $140 and I started mixing in my friend's basement.
badass. Nice.
Yeah. And I didn't come home. I didn't start living back in Miami till like 2-3 years from that. Yeah. So I mean, if to make it a long story short, from there I went to another school, a university in South Dakota, and when I got there was a club opening up at the same exact time. The
Damn.
first club they've ever had there.
That sounds like a lot of synchronicity right there.
This is
bro.
what I'm telling you about the
yeah.
luck.
Yeah, the luck is there. Like that is some prime synchronicity.
I hadn't DJ'd in front of anyone before that, like maybe twice in a friend's backyard.
Wow.
Like I wasn't good.
Yeah.
And the sign said looking for DJs 21 and over only, and I was like 20.
Okay.
And I called them, they weren't answering, and I just walked inside and I'm like, who's the owner? And it was this lady there, and I pitched my case. I said, I've been DJing since I was like 18 years old in Miami, and I was just lying my ass off.
Nice.
I was like, I'll DJ for free. I don't care about the money. I just want to do it. No one's gonna work harder than me at being the DJ for this club. And I left, and she's like, okay, you got Friday and Saturday.
Nice.
And I'm like, yeah, and I wasn't 21, so I had to like really pitch my case.
Really? Yeah, yeah.
And she allowed it.
Wow.
And so like from there, I started DJing every night, every Friday and Saturday from 9 p.m. open to close from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. open to close for $45.
For college, for like
Yeah.
a college scene. Wow.
And like $45 is nothing. I
That's
was getting
nothing.
minimum wage.
Yeah.
And I at that time, like I said, I wasn't as good. So I was like very like narrow-headed. I was like, I need to play like this. I see Martin Garrix playing like this. I got to play like this here. Like if they just hear the music, they'll understand. They'll love it. Which it's like I had great times there and it worked. But when I look back on it, it could have been so much better if I just played a bunch of other genres with it too.
Gotcha. But
Some nights it'd be empty. It'd be a snow day and no one was there, and I'm just DJing by myself.
damn. But you still got paid.
Of course,
Okay.
but I didn't even care about the money. Bro.
Yeah, right. You were just there to
Yeah,
play.
after my 2 years there, then I came back home and I'm like, oh, I need to start learning I need to start getting on shows here, and that's when I started making music when I got back here.
Word.
And then I played a couple shows and I said, this is not for me. Like the way they operate this, like I'm bringing 20 people here and I'm not getting paid, and the shows suck, and like the only people here are my friends. So that's yeah. No, I mean that's on a very small scale.
Right.
Yeah, that's they were telling me I have to like, and other people were telling me I have to sell tickets for a chance to play, and I said I'm not doing that. That's for
Facts.
sure.
Yeah.
And I remember in the group chat they were roasting me. They were like, if like this is how it is. Like if you don't do this in 2 years, you're gonna look back and you're not gonna be anywhere.
Damn.
And I wish I could remember who said that.
Yeah. Come back at them and just.
Because I
Throw it in their
guarantee
face.
you, I'm looking back at them now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that just didn't make sense to me. I'm busting my ass and not even know if I'm gonna play. So I started playing shows that I didn't have to do that, but I was still doing them for free. And then I had one show that I was like, all right, I'm done doing this, and that's why I started doing my own once a year.
Gotcha.
I did my own. I went from making $0 to $600 for a show that I did my own, booked my own artist, got my own venue, and it was like right here in Pembroke Pines.
Nice.
And then the next year I did it again, and it grew twice the size. And then this bartender that works there,
Yeah.
he's best friends with an artist named Kid, the one that he just showed me.
Kid with the question mark?
Yes.
Oh,
he's best
fuck.
friends with him since they were kids.
Damn, bro. What are the odds?
And I'm like, and the owners knew him too. And they're like, oh, yo, like, I'll tell him to come by the show. And I'm like, dope. I
Word.
totally forgot about it until I'm there and he shows up. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I actually like this guy as
You
an
actually got
artist.
to meet him.
And he's like, I'm down to play.
Dead ass.
So I ended up playing 30 minutes, and then me and him played together,
Like back to back.
back to back, for the next 30 minutes.
Shit.
So everybody there was like, what the fuck is going on?
That's fucking
I haven't even
cool.
talked to him since that day and never talked to him ever again.
Wow. So this man just shows up at the party, and
I was just
like,
lucky.
Yeah. Yo, the universe wanted you to become a DJ, my man. Like, it sounds like there's a divine plan for you to touch decks and make something happen. Because this is a lot of crazy synchronicities just kind of happening in the right direction.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something else now, but it'll come up later.
How was it to finally meet someone that you idolize like Carnage, right? You got to see this guy perform so many times, and then finally you get to actually meet him.
Yeah.
Right? Does it come across as like starstruck, or more like you mentioned, damn, this is how these guys operate, and it kind of elevates your thinking?
With him, it's a little different. I have better stories of other artists that I look up to that I'm cool with now, but with him it's different because he now is like when he finally knows who I am.
Word.
So and the only time I've gotten to see him was like at that show in LA, and there was so many people like behind, like in the backstage area.
Yeah.
That it was like to get to him, it was like impossible. Like I just watched him play, and like it's just he has a presence to him. Like I still haven't had a conversation with him in person because after the show there was like a million people around him.
Always. Yeah.
I'm not gonna like just wait and like try to go
be that guy,
try to talk to him.
Yeah.
Like there's another artist named 4B that he's another person I idolize, and like me and him have become friends because I started same way. I emailed him music. He's like, I love this, and then we started talking, and I showed up and met him in person.
Wow.
And like now, like me and him are like normal now, and like
actual friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Like I don't know what I would say. Like I see how they operate, and I'm like, I feel like I relate to them a lot. Like I'm like, I'm exactly like this. Like there's other people that I meet, and I'm like,
nah,
don't want to be a dick, but I don't feel like you got what it takes.
Right.
Like you're hung up on little things that happen to us every day. That is like, you're gonna have to like roll with the punches because you're gonna be told no, you're gonna get fucked over. You just gotta learn from it and keep going.
Definitely. And it takes a good understanding of what you bring to the table and your surroundings to be like, yo, your energy and who you are, you're just not on the same level as me right now.
It's just a confidence thing. I was blessed that I played baseball before this, so I already like from as a kid, the earliest I could remember, like I don't remember like learning how to play baseball. I just remember knowing how to do it already.
Word. And
I was blessed to live in an area where there was a lot of talented people, a lot of talented coaches, and all I remember is already being good. And baseball's a game of failure, so I already know how to deal with failure all the time.
Yeah.
So I already came into music with a confidence and going through so much failure that other people haven't. Like someone that just grew up like being on their computer,
right,
is gonna deal with adversity way different than an athlete. So
how much do you think sports has influenced your music career?
Like 95%.
Damn, that's a massive percentage. Yeah.
I don't know who I would be without it.
Wow.
It's music-wise, like production-wise, I would say nothing to do with like how the music made. It's just everything to do with performing. Because I don't really care how many people are there. The more, the better.
Yeah.
Because I already dealt with that in baseball, and I don't like. It's the crowd too. Like some people might be scared of the crowd like booing you or something.
Yeah.
And it's different. If the crowd's booing you in DJing, it's not good. If the crowd's booing you in baseball, it's good because you're probably balling out.
Yeah, that makes sense. You got haters.
But yeah, like I don't give a shit about people talking bad about me on Twitter or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll talk right back. The only reason I won't do it now is because I know if I talk back, then it's just gonna attract more.
Right.
So I don't really get that much hate. Maybe on like SoundCloud.
Of course.
And I just feel bad for them. I don't say anything.
So that's the way you deal with that negative energy coming from just haters, man. Straight up.
I don't really have any, I would say.
Okay.
If I do, they're not telling me.
Word.
That's what I think themselves.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes people get rubbed the wrong way, and I'm like, it's mainly people that I've never met. Because like I'm just out here trying to do good. Like I don't understand what you would feel a way about.
Yeah. But, some people are the way they are, and that's the way they got to be. You just kind of leave it like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not in a like a cocky way. It's like I feel like if I get the chance to meet you, I'm trying to treat everyone good, so I don't see what you would have to say bad about me. Truly.
And when it comes to DJing and producing, and how do you juggle all of these things at once? Because I'm pretty sure it can get pretty hectic. Like you said, you're your one man show. You got to produce content. You got to produce at the same time.
Yeah.
Play shows.
DJing wise, these days I don't. The only time I would say I get practice DJing is like when I'm preparing for a set, for a show, or I'm making a mix. I make a mix once every month for sure, and then prepare for a show at least once or twice every month, and that's the only time I really practice DJing.
Gotcha.
Producing, I try to get in 2 hours a day. Try to do that 5 times a week.
Damn.
Try. And even if I want to keep going that day, I just limit myself and I say no.
Okay.
So then I wake up the next day eager to get back on it. Or if it's a bad day, I get to that minute and I'm like, all right, my bad day is done.
Word.
I'd rather have the bad day today than tomorrow.
And at what point did you feel like you realized that producing is the angle, not DJing a lot? Because I feel like a lot of people got it twisted. They feel like DJing a ton of shows is the best way to get visibility.
It's pointless.
Why?
It's completely pointless because there's a lot of people here, especially local DJs, that play a bunch of shows and they don't have any relative music or music at all. And they think by playing at these clubs, they're going to grow. You might get 5 to 6 people that night every time you go, but you can get 100 people every day if you have music online. Like, and if you look at all they're all making their own music.
Yeah.
Like to me, anyone can go over there and play other people's songs. Yeah. But if you could rock a crowd with your music, it's different.
Totally.
Nothing really happened for me until I started making music. And it's a totally different, like, not to say you don't get respect if you're a really good DJ, you do. But you get so much more respect when you walk into a building and you're like, that guy makes bangers.
Gosh.
And like, that's the guy, like, you're people playing his songs, right? And then once you're